Hello and welcome to the live coverage of the 2018 World Orienteering Championships from Riga in Latvia. I'm Catherine Betts, I'm joined by Ines Mertz all week, and we start with the women's and then the men's sprint finals around the Old Town in Riga, the capital of Latvia. This morning we had the two sprint qualification races, which were in an area a bit more parkland, some buildings as well, and the top 15 from each of the three heats have progressed through to the finals this afternoon. And as we can, I think you can already see, there are a lot of people out there, there are a lot of pedestrians that the runners are going to have to avoid. But tell me a little bit about, firstly, in the women's qualification, what happened there early this morning?
Yeah, also in general, I can say it wasn't the most difficult qualification we have seen during all these years. It was quite a typical race for as a qualification. It was very physically demanding, so no big surprises in general. We have seen Sabine Hauswirth mispunching. That's maybe the biggest surprise in the women's class. And in the men's class, we had the bronze medalist from last year, Frédéric Tronchon, going out, missing the final. That was a big surprise.
But as you said, in the women's, most people getting through pretty, as expected. And who were our heat winners in the end?
Well, in the end, we had the usual suspects up there. We had Maja Alm winning her heat, Judith Widder and Caroline Olsson, and I think that's not a big surprise. That's what we could expect on beforehand. Maybe we would have expected Tuve a bit higher up, but we never know how much effort she put down on this qualification. I mean, in some of the heats you could have been 2 minutes behind and still make it to the final, so a runner like Tuve, she doesn't have to push all the way to be sure that she's going to the final, as long as she isn't missing a control or mispunching.
Yes, Tove Alexandersson from Sweden. It's interestingly, it's the first time she's run a sprint race at a World Championships. Then.
Yeah, it is. We have seen her at the European Champs, and she did very well there. She took
won.
The gold medal. But at the same time, in this race, some months ago, we had a comeback from Judith Widder and also from Maja Alm. They have both been away a bit from training, and they were focusing more on the World Championship. So I think we will see a different race today. Their shape, it progressed. They are now where they have to be, and they didn't put too much effort in this European Championship. So I think it will be harder for Tuve to win this race today.
Yeah, I think both of them said that, they were building all of their physical strength training up for the World Championships, and when we were in Switzerland for the European Championships, they weren't quite at, the fitness that they really wanted to be at, and as we said, their main aim is these World Championships. And I think they still had impressive results at the European Championships, so to see them then next go on and develop that and be even faster, I think it's going to be a really exciting race.
Especially Judith Widder, she showed that she was really well prepared already then. But we also have seen Maja Alm, she has been competing in 3,000 meter, and she had almost a new personal record 1 month ago, so 1 month before the World Championships. From this time she had 1 month to go with training, so I think she is better prepared than before, maybe.
Yes, and so we also had the men's qualifications as well. Who were the top guys from that one?
In the men's qualification we had Tim Robertson from New Zealand, Jonas Leandersson from Sweden, and Yannick Michels from Belgium. And I think there we didn't see the top favorite. Of course we have Michels and Leandersson, both candidates for a medal, but we have the two European champions, Kiburtz and Hoopman, and they were not on the very top this morning. And I think in the men's race they really have to put in everything in a qualification, because in one of the heats we had only 29 seconds down to the 15th spot, and Martin Hoopman, he almost missed the qualification today, but he made it as last runner in.
Yeah, that just shows how tight it is amongst all of the men's.
Yeah, it's very
runners.
tight. It's very tight. 29 seconds, you might lose some seconds physically, and then if you just miss 10-15 seconds you can be out. You just miss one route choice and it will be difficult.
So you just say there's maybe a wider pool of
of course.
the medals could come from anywhere.
In the very top, I think the level in both classes is very, very high, but there's a wider range. Like the runners around the 45th place might be on a bit higher level in the men's class. So physically, I think they're closer to each other, and so that makes it harder to qualify for the final.
And also makes it harder for us to call who we think is going to do well, because we never know. It's all going to be when you pick up that map, see the course and see the controls, then that will really give you an indication. And you've been seeing here on the pictures just what the terrain is out there in the old town of Riga. There's lots of smallish alleyways. There's lots of route choices as well, but this is the first starter. Zuzanna Kubica from Poland is the first to set off.
And it's her first championship, so not a lot of information we can give you about her, but she will open this race. And I think it's not a big advantage to start early today, because we have many tourists out there, and as the first runner you have to kind of work away those tourists to get to your control. So I think it's not an advantage to go first out.
No, I think as the minutes tick by, the tourists will realise that something is going on.
Yeah, some of the tourists.
Some of the tourists will, and they will realise that they need to give the runners a good wide berth, because it's some of the passages are more narrow, some of them, and we'll see on the map when just after 3 o'clock when we get that there's also a lot of cafes out there as well, and people will have had their lunch now, be looking at all the sights in the city, and that really, I mean,
we see here there are many big groups of tourists with a guide, and I mean they don't really care if you come running, and we have been running out there for 1 hour ago, and it was very hard to get your way to the control, so I really hope they will go step aside a little bit so that the runners can run through.
It's these moving obstacles that you can't really map, can you? So
and then you have the cobbles in the whole city that makes it hard with coordination, and I mean it's a bit more dense now, it's a bit cloudy, so maybe some rain later on, and if it's gonna rain then it can be very slippery around the corners here, so let's hope the weather will keep as it is at the moment.
Yeah, but it is very warm and has been for quite a while here in Riga. I think it's high 20s, possibly just touching on 30s, which would be worse if we were talking about a long distance. I think for sprints it's going to be have less of an impact, but still obviously the runners will definitely feel that.
Yeah, but it's no matter for just during your run. You will notice that after finishing, when you just won't stop sweating, but otherwise it's okay.
But there's a good mixture of stuff. We've also got some barriers in place, which means that you really have to think a little bit more about route choice on something.
We have some, but not very much. We have some artificial fences built up and some route choices, but I think it's fair. It's not they didn't build up a labyrinth. We'll see a maze later on, but I think it's okay. You can put them up. It's fair. I think it's a very good course.
So Natasha Key from Australia is the fourth to start. 46-year-old. Her first world champs was in 1995, and she's been running today alongside her son. He unfortunately didn't qualify in the men's, but Natasha Key is back again, racing for Australia.
Will they have a family team tomorrow in the sprint training?
Hey, that's a good question.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, well, we'll look out for that one. But there is, as you can see, a little route choice now into the first control, going right or left, and it's just about seeing all these passageways, isn't it, as well? So overall we have 45 people in the start list. Our last starter is Maya Alm. Her time, local time, she starts local time 3:40. So in 40 minutes we'll have our final starter, Maya Alm. So our arena today is situated in the heart of Old Riga. This is the building behind you, the House of the Blackheads, and I believe it's where the president lives. It's a pretty spectacular building, but our first race today, as of course, it's the women's sprint final. And they set off, run through, and then finish in this arena, which is becoming fuller and fuller with some of the tourists and the O fans as well. It's a pretty spectacular city, and I believe it's the first time we've been orienteering in a capital city, and that's certainly something that the organisers were keen to bring to this competition, and it certainly brings a different style of orienteering. We've talked about the tourists already, and I think it's just nice to be in this old town and really show off the sport to the max. So we've already now had the first 5 starters in the women's race. We'll get our final starter in about 40 minutes, and that is triple defending champion Maja Alm from Denmark. The weather, so temperature is 28 degrees. It's not the wind. There's not that much wind when you consider all the buildings around, but it has just clouded over, and we think there's possibly some danger of some rain. It feels like there's rain in the air, and this could make the cobbles very, very slippery. But the course, 3.8 kilometres with 17 controls, next to no climb, gives us an estimated winning time of 13 minutes, and it is very fast and very furious, I think, especially with the lack of climb, I think, as well. But those cobbles look innocent, but really do slow you down and make it hard to run and hard to get that coordination. But the fans here in Riga will start figuring out where the controls are, and this is the map.
And finally we get the course here. So it starts with some short controls in the beginning, 1, 2, 3. It's mostly, I think, the course setter wants the runners to not be able to prepare too much for this a bit longer leg, 4, and then 5, 6. There we have the first artificial fence there. So I think it's better to go around to the right. Then 7, a shorter control, and then between 7 and 8, that's a quite a difficult route choice. You have to run in a bit an S form there, and it's like these small alleys are very heavy to see, very hard to see. And then some easier controls. You have the passage 11, 12, not very difficult, not 13 either. 14, and then 14 to 15, there's a route choice again. Left or a bit in between the houses there, and then you go back to the arena. 16, that's a route choice again. 17, and then you have
into the finish.
Into the finish, yeah.
Yep. The men's course has a little bit longer at the end. We'll come to that later.
Exactly. Here we have some pictures from the course. Control 8 to 9, that's just before the spectator passage in the arena. So here you see there are many of these restaurants out marked as red area. There are really many of those, and sometimes it really helps you to orienteer. But the tricky part is a little bit, because if you're just looking at the map, it's easy to ignore them when you plan your route choice. When you're watching 8-9 here, it's quite easy to just focus on the border of the houses as you usually do, and then it's a bit harder to see the distances and compare them to each other. But otherwise, this control, I don't think it will be any difficulty for the runners.
No, but it's those areas of pink or red on the map means you have to run a way around, maybe a little bit further than you might think.
Because you're so used to just orienteer and take the borders of the houses to orienteer, and then if you have these red areas, you're not really used. To
and sometimes you can actually cut through the red area and go almost like through the cafe between the house and the seating, and you really can't do that. Anyway, the start list goes what we expect to be the slowest runners first, with the fastest qualifiers from the 3 heats, they will be starting in the final 3 spots. Tove Alexanderson in 33 there. She finished in 5th in her heats. Obviously doing enough to qualify, but maybe not pushing herself, too much.
I mean, she has many competitions to come. She will run every discipline this week, so it might be good to take it a bit easy. Or we don't know, actually. And then we have from Hungary, Virak Weiler. That might have been a bit surprise, even if she showed before that she is a good sprint orienteer, but still, she was very good in this qualification.
So this is where one that's got really lots of route choice.
Exactly. And here when we have this blue route choice in the beginning, there's a passage between the houses, and this looks very private when you run there. It's not that easy to see it, and it feels like if you run into just an apartment there in the beginning. So that feels a bit strange, but it will be very clear for the runners. I mean, there's no where should you go?
Yeah, there's nowhere else to go. Yeah,
exactly.
And the blue route is the shortest, and we think that's definitely the quickest one as well.
The fastest.
Yeah, even though you are going in that S shape.
Yeah, because usually you really try to avoid these S shapes because it's hard to see how long it is, what the distance is there. So you try to avoid it, but I think it's very clever of the course setter to use that. Because it's also hard to see. You look always for a left or a right turn, and then it's hard to see these S-shaped route choices.
So Susan Lösch from Germany, she's the only one to qualify from the German team in number 12, is next to take to the course.
It was 4 years ago. She was running the sprint last time at the World Championships, and she finished in 31st place there.
And yeah, people realising there's definitely some route choice decisions made here. So number 7 there, Cecilia Vercelotti.
And I think that the problem with this, that's what I mentioned. Here it looks very private, as if you were running into this apartment, and then you have to be careful not running down the stairs there. But she seems to take this S-shaped route choice, so that was a good choice. And the problem with the tourists is, I think, because they're not here to watch. Many of them are not here to watch the orienteering, so they're moving all the time. So they won't learn where the runners are going. And I think this will be an ongoing issue during the whole competition.
So Astrina Kuketa from Lithuania is on her way to TV control number 1. Punches.
She has her best result from a sprint 5 years ago, 2013, and also 2012, 19th place. And she almost did it. I have to admit, I almost ran down there as well.
Yep, so she's second into control number 7, and that's our TV control, our first TV control. But in second place behind Prieto of Spain currently. Diana Ilieva from Bulgaria is next to set off at number 14.
An experienced runner. It's already her 14th WOC. And her best result in sprint is also a 14th position, 2011 in France.
And she too will take the right-hand route choice to number 1, but back out in the train. We've got Elena Fedorova from Ukraine. And she's already behind the time of Prieto of Spain, and she's just punched control number 6. We'll head to go punch control number 7 here on her right. So it goes into 9th place.
Let's see if she is running down the stairs there, or if she noticed. No? Good job. And I think that's a very good. If you're like just shouting when you see that there are people in the way, I think this is very effective.
That's what I would do. Is just yell the whole time.
Yeah, I mean there are other runners using other techniques. We know that Morten Boström, he uses to have a bell around his foot to that people can hear him coming. That's a tactic as well you can use in a sprint race.
So
but for me that would be
7.
really annoying for myself because it disturbs your own concentration. And now she has the problem that she doesn't really dare to go in there because it looks so private.
Well, she just needs to go a little bit further left, and there was the actual gate that she needs to go through. There's one of the gate next to it is marked with a thick black line, and then the green. So Ali Crocker from the United States is now starting, number 16. Took the 15th spot 2 years ago. No, not 2 years ago, 3 years ago in Scotland in the sprint. That's her best result. And if you can hear the screams there, that's from the Lithuanian fans celebrating Asrina Kuketa going through. Maëlle Beauvais now, though, to our first TV control. She goes 8th spot there for France, 31 seconds behind the Spaniard Kuketa at the moment.
It's her first World Championships. A young runner from France, 21 years old.
And Susan Nash is also on her way to split control number 1, running. She started a minute after Beauvais of France. And maybe she's just going to be a bit too slow to sneak in ahead of Kuketa, who's in current second place at this point. She goes third. Oh, yeah.
And you see that half of the gate there is closed, so if you come from the right side and you take a look to the left, yeah, where to go. If you come from the right side, the angle in that angle it looks a bit as if it would be closed, so that can be the reason why everyone is hesitating there.
It's about running with confidence, though, as we see Anna Nari from Finland is the next to start.
It's about running with confidence, or like be a bit ahead with your map reading, but it's very hard, just especially in this part of the course, because you have really many short decisions to take, and that makes it hard to be ahead with your map reading. And I think that's exactly what the course planner planned there.
Yeah, and especially if you started off with a couple of the tricky controls as well.
I think that is took the better route choice there.
Mistake though from Tasha Key.
But I think in general it's better to run out to the right there on this route choice. And that's a big name, Galina Vinogradova. She was the bronze medalist from last year and also the bronze medalist from 2015 in sprint.
Yep, and an experienced sprinter and orienteer but she's an early starter today. It's fair to say that.
But I think it doesn't really matter in the sprint race as far as if you have to start first. Just if you take this sprint race today, that's not an advantage. But if you start as the 15th runner or in the very end, I don't think that matters really.
So Lieva goes 5th. I think you could see Vinogradova just folding her map up so quickly at the start, getting into that race mode straight away. No problems with the stairs this time. It's just like you're going through the middle of an apartment building. That's why it seems very weird.
You see how she has to run to the left and to the right all the time, avoiding running into other people there, tourists.
Charlotte Ward punches control number 6. And all of the Brits qualified to the sprint final today. So did all the runners from Sweden, Poland and Norway. But Charlotte Ward now looks to have a good start. compared to the runners before her, but not ready with this. Oh, and she's taking a very different route choice now to control number 8. And I think we saw that going through and past the steps, we saw that at the beginning, the comparison of the distances of all of them, that was the shortest one, but you do have to take a zigzag to go there, which is why you might initially recoil at taking that route or just not see it. But these are the current standings at split number 1. Maria Prieto of Spain is our current leader at this point after just under 5 minutes of running. Laura Rammstein from Austria is next to start, number 21. And into the finish, the leader at split number 1, Maria Prieto from Spain, is heading up the run-in and crosses the line. She takes the new fastest time, 15 minutes 35.
We know that the course setter planned to have the course in 13 minutes. I'm not really sure if we will see those 13 minutes. Seems to be very fast in my opinion, but well, let's see. We have very fast runners coming.
Yeah, we have very fast runners coming, but that's the benchmark, the fastest we have at the moment. As we also see Laura Robertson from New Zealand start. Yeah, that just gives it, I think that the time there, the leading time now just shows how much it's going to come down in as we get the really, really fast runners in the final stages of the course. Kristina Jakubkina from Belarus is also behind the time of the Spaniard going to control number 7, where we get our first split. We also have on her way here Anna Nari, who's running well, actually, catching up time.
No, she's also choosing to go back there. No, that's
no. On her way to control number 7, and is the first one to go faster than
she
Spaniard.
Is taking the S shape through choice as well.
And this is how just having the balance and being able to stop yourself from changing direction quickly.
Yeah, and she is a bit more lucky here than the runners we have seen before. There are no tourists there at the moment. This is Marika Teini, the European champion in middle distance.
Yeah, she had a very good start to her season, and one of the ones to watch, especially coming closer to the forest.
Yeah, she had 10th place from last year in the sprint, so she's definitely a good name to mention here in this race as well.
So we're looking for Galina Vinogradova coming to split number 1. It's control 7 if you're following on the GPS tracking, but this is control 6. She'll punch here, and then we'll weave through. These are actually some of the narrowest alleyways in the course. Some of them are actually quite open.
At the same time, you don't have as many tourists here, so it's almost more comfortable to run there than on the big paths or alleys in the city.
Now she's really trying to make that decision. You could see going into the control.
But it's a bit of a surprise. She's almost 20 seconds behind Anna Nari already in the beginning of the course. It's quite a big gap.
And it doesn't have, I think, the confidence and the speed going through all these parts. Yeah, that's
yeah,
the
and you
difference.
see the difference now. So, I mean, it's not a lot of time you lose there, but you can't really focus on the map reading when you're there, and you see that there are many people coming. And I mean, if it's only 1 or 2 seconds you lose, if you have that 2 or 3 times during the course, then it's up to 10 seconds.
It does add up, but hopefully over the whole course it will even out. But this ready to start is Maija Sienoja from Finland, third Finnish woman to start today. Almost all the team qualified through from this morning's races. But back at split number 1, Inyamira is taking a 4th fastest time.
So she is reading this route choice carefully.
It's a balance, isn't it, between being hesitant
and the thing is
and between getting it right.
You would really like to read the map there because there's so many decisions to take. It's one of the toughest route choices on the course, and you don't really get the chance because you have to go to the left there, then this small entrance, and then the stairs, and then you come out, and there are many tourists, so you never really get the chance to read the map. You have a comparison there between.
I think Ananari just had a very good speed through the first few controls, and that really set her up, I think, to be ahead of the others. And the 19-year-old, Teresa Janasikova from the Czech Republic, I think it's her 2nd World Championships. Also was running in JWOC as well. Promising young runner from the Czech Republic.
She took a 2nd place in sprint at JWOC. She took 24th place at the World Championships last year as an 18-year-old. That's good.
That's very good. But Laura Ramstein goes 10th. Very, very close. A lot of people around the 30 seconds behind Mark.
Now again, she gets the chance to read the map there.
And now also coming to control number 6 is Laura Robertson. Already behind Nari, though, of Finland. Who, I think could see from the GPS tracking just had a very good flow through the first 3-4 controls. The route choice is not making too much of an impact. It's also about how fast you make those decisions and not hesitating at any of these points.
And now we see her. I mean, that costs you maybe 4-5 seconds, and then you lose a bit self-confidence by doing that. Next time she will run into a narrow area, she will be very careful again, and she loses that confidence that we saw Ananari having there, and she passed.
But she was very confident. Yeah, she was very confident going through the gate.
Yeah, but maybe she won't be that next time.
No. So goes in 2nd spot. So 2 Finns leading at the moment.
Cameraman doing some work for the runners following. I think they won't be in the runner's way again.
You can see the clouds building as well. Has been a delightfully blue morning, but we are in danger of getting some rain. But the standings at the moment, split 1, Ananari from Finland is leading by 7 seconds ahead of her teammate Marie Katani, with the Spaniard Maria Prieto, who's still our leader at the finish, in 3rd spot.
In lead, but now in the finish from Denmark.
So Ursula Kadan is next to start from Austria.
She has a 8th place from last year in the sprint. She had a very good season last year in both the World Cups and in the World Championships. And the 8th place in the sprint was very, very impressive. And this is Silje Ikroljaren from Norway.
27 seconds down at the moment. Working hard and dodging the steps.
This is back to Ananari. Her way to the 2nd split.
So I think she's on her way. Is she on her way to 14?
And
or on her way to 15 now?
Yeah, you have to turn to the right there. And you really have to use the time you get in areas like that, because you see there are no people, you have no decisions to take except for the turn to the right there, and then you really want to choose to use that time to get yourself a chance to be ahead in your map reading, because it's very hard when you're in these small parts. On the first controls, you never really get the chance. Then there you have many people around you on control 5 to 8, and this is kind of the first time you really get time to do some map reading. You can calm down a little bit, and it gives you a good feeling. But then, of course, you have to get back and be focused again.
So it looks like we're going to get a new fastest time at the finish, and it's Charlotte Ward. Oh no, she's just slightly behind Maria Prieto of Spain. So Charlotte Ward goes second, 8 minutes 6 seconds down. Her time 15:43 was the leader before Ananari at control 15, which is our second TV control. But running now behind Teresa Janasikova, the young Czech athlete who has also lost some time in the early parts of the course. I think you can see how well Nari attacked the beginning of the course really paid off so far.
Charlotte Ward after the third intermediate. Yeah, the second final already climbs to the third intermediate, comes closer to the finish and still in lead over Galina Vinogradova is now around 20 seconds.
Galina Vinogradova, though, at split number 2, goes second, only 7.6 seconds down, so has made up some time from the first radio control. But back now behind Zia Basse.
And Latvian
and now it starts to be a bit easier to see the entrance there, because
there's now
the
people
spectators,
standing
they
in the
notice
way.
that they will run there. I mean, also
Just
the
need to get someone to stand in front
spectators,
of
they
the
don't
stairs.
have the map from the beginning, so they learn a little bit where the course is going. And I'm sure in the end, also in the men's race, you will see almost the spectators standing and showing you the way to the controls.
So now it is the European champion, 5-time gold medalist at the World Championships, Tove Alexanderson. First time she's running a sprint at the World Championships, though, and let's see what she can do. She is definitely one of the favourites for this race, and possibly holding something back from the qualifications, but we will be looking already to see Tove Alexanderson setting a time. I think that was just a little excitement to get going from there, but Ananari just missed going into a new fastest time by 36 seconds, just dipping under the 15-minute mark. Ananari from Finland.
It's quite an effort to leave your sporty then. And also she has a time just under 15 minutes, and we didn't see any bigger mistakes from her. So 2 minutes faster.
But if you think Galina Vinogradova has caught up a lot of time in the middle section of the race,
won the medal last year.
But still, the second
see.
she's caught up some seconds. So we need to see who's done well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I hope for the course setter that he's right.
But Vinogradova finishes and goes into a new lead. Very fast finish from Galina Vinogradova of Russia. Goes and just pushes Ananari off the leader's chair there. So new leader at the finish is Galina Vinogradova.
But I don't think she will be satisfied with that. I mean, she has won medals before, and I don't think this was a medal race.
No. I think you're going to be right there. We'll see some very quick times later on. But Sigrid Alexanderson is out there. So too is Mukateni. And she was on her way out of control number 14. On her way to
I actually expect them to read the map a little bit in advance, as she's doing now, but she's mostly just checking the direction here, that she has to turn right here,
go between
Because
these
there's a
buildings.
route choice coming in about 2 controls from here, and you really get some time. Of course, you don't want to overdo it, because then it's easy to miss this entrance here, but still, you would like to use the time when you have it.
But still, this is control 15 out of 17. So there's the one route choice to 16 to go, and then 17 is it's just running. So actually, you also want to use some of the more straightforward sections to really stretch your legs.
And you don't know if she prepared that leg before, so maybe she was just ahead.
We're looking very calm and looking, really, really looking ahead, and not got her head buried in her map the whole time. Really seems to be using the map reading opportunities to her advantage. But Sandra Grosberger was the fastest qualifying of all the Latvians here, running on home soil. But we also have Elena Ross, 5th in the world's sprint rankings, and is always someone who could vie for a medal whenever she starts a race.
She has many 6th places from World Championships and the European Championships in sprint. Twice in the World Championships and twice in the European Champs. And I know she wasn't really satisfied with that this year on home soil. But I think for her it might be easier to run here because the pressure is much less. There was a lot of focus on her when it was in Switzerland, because it was in the part where she is coming from. I think she can perform very well today.
Meanwhile, Alice Leake is on her way to control number 7, the Yorkshire athlete. But going to go top 6 spots so far. And we saw how much Vinogradova caught up at the end. And now here's someone who could have a big impact on today's race. Natalia Gempler, the defending silver medalist, and also took a bronze at the Europeans. But this is Alexandersson of Sweden, and let's see how she's doing. She's got 18 seconds to make it to control 7 ahead of Ananari.
Yeah, that's a new best time.
Yeah, for sure. So an 8-second lead there for Alexandersson, but
and she is backing out now. I don't think that's the best route choice.
No.
We saw that on the comparison of the distances, and also that's. I mean, they don't expect the runners to back out there from this control, the spectators. And she's one of the runners who doesn't really care if there's someone in her way. She's just going on,
like
very
in the
focused
terrain,
on her.
Well, it'd be interesting to see some GPS tracking and figure out whether she'll have lost any time there doing that different route choice to control 8.
She should lose time there.
She should lose time, yes. And she went fastest, but I think that was at an 8-second lead. Yeah. So Marika Cheney there into 2nd place currently. So Finland 2nd and 3rd at the moment. With
14th was last year, and she has 3 medals.
This is Anastasia Rutnaya from Russia. 14th place last year in Tartu, Estonia.
And next will be Vira Guela from Hungary. Hungarian in this final will be number 40. 21st place for Hungarian last year in Estonia.
A lot of the women are choosing to run this way, which when we tried it, we thought was slightly slower than going straight on. But I think it's where the people are standing, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing is also, if you take the route choice to the right, you have possibility to see the control earlier, already from like 50 meters distance, and this gives you the chance to plan the next control already. So that might be, I mean, when you compare it, it's maybe a difference of 2 or 3 seconds, and you can actually win those seconds again by just being prepared. But I don't know if it's just take left or right, don't hesitate. That's important there.
So Sandra Grosberger, the best of the Latvians, goes into 8th place at our first radio control. We also saw Silja Koljarin finishing there into 6th spot. And that's what it's like running on home soil. Could hear the Latvians cheering very loudly for their athletes in the qualification this morning, and no different here today. So Elena Roos, and we know she's for the time. I think Alexanderson was about 4:22 punching control. That control 6.
36 at the next control. So Elena is a bit behind, but we also think that she didn't pick the right route choice to next control. So still an okay start for Elena Roos.
So evidently having to make some decisions on the way out there, but making the right one. So, you know, do you waste time making decisions and then make the right one? So Lena Strand, the next to go out, initially picked to do the middle distance, but switched with Sarah Hagström to go and do the sprint instead.
Very special decision, but they both thought that they would have bigger chances in the other discipline. So, of course, that makes sense. If you think about that, you should do the
one that you think you're going to do better at, exactly.
But for me, it's surprising to change it.
Yeah, it's kind of become a characteristic pink hair now. But we're now behind Natalia Gempele, who's lost some time early on. Yes, she's already 23 seconds behind Alexanderson at split number 1. And dropping down the ranks quickly. Yep, it's there. Watch out, man with the pram. She knew her exit direction, but still reading the details of her map on the way out of the control there. Yep. But Gempele behind now. Let's have a look at some of the replays. This is where we can see Vinogradova maybe catching up Nari, and it was on the route choice.
I think she didn't really plan the route choice all the way on Nari, and she got surprised by one of these artificial fences. And it's always a bit difficult with those artificial fences, because it's against your intuition that you wouldn't be able to run on this street there, and you have to plan it very carefully. Of course, that's something you can train on beforehand, put artificial fences into your trainings, but still it's always a bit surprising, and you can't prepare that from the beginning, because you don't know where the course setter will build them up.
Yeah, you don't. We'll talk about Carolyn Olsen in a minute, but this is Judith Vida, who has come back from her baby holiday, as she's been putting it. Ran some great races at the Europeans, but this is the one she's really been trying to peak for and come back for. But Alexanderson, though, is on her way to TV control number 2 and running fast in the style we've all become used to now.
I think she paced up the speed a little bit here on this part, and this is a part that should suit her very well. Just pushing all those runners, Maja Alm, Tove, Alexanderson and Judith Wider. I think they will really try to use this leg here to push very hard, and of course to
I think you can actually, even on the camera here, you can tell just how much faster she's running. And got her runner in front as well, who you just see disappearing through the little alleyway there. As you can see her refolding the map, checking the routes to control number 16 as well. GB's Alice Leek is the fastest at that point currently, but Tove Alexanderson is going to smash it out of the park. That's a 48-second lead from Sweden's Alexanderson, who has never raced the sprint distance at the World Championships before. She's raced it lots of other times, but this is our final starter. It is the 3-time defending champion, Maja Alm from Denmark, looking to make it number 4. She too has been building up to the World Champs as her, you know, this is by far her big race of the season. And we know she knows how to keep it cool at this point, just having to navigate other runners at that part, but taking the right-hand route. And this is definitely an athlete who will be looking to make very quick moves early on, already had to come into contention with some cars. Let's go back, though, to Lina Strand from Sweden, who, again, we know she's maybe 10 or 12 seconds behind Alexanderson at that point and still needs to get to control number 7, where we'll take our split time from.
But that's still, it's an okay start.
Hornick from Poland
the
also
Swedish
had a good
route
time.
choice here, as it seemed. It will be interesting to compare to Alexanderson to another runner. As you have seen, I mean, she won so much on the last control, so it's hard to compare her with runners around. It'll be interesting to see, to just compare this control to Maja Alm or Judith.
So I think we're looking for Alexanderson now. She's very, very close. That's the standing there at split 1, an 8-second lead. We saw it extended to 48 seconds. She took 40 seconds out of Ananari, definitely at that particular, from TV split number 1 to TV split number 2, 40 seconds. We're now going to look for her very soon to take new time. This is Alice Leak, though, also looking good, but behind her is Tove Alexanderson.
That's the start point, not the last control.
But luckily there are enough people to scream at her. But it's going to be just under a minute, as Alice Leak has also gone first. Havasted and Vinogradova, but she's being chased by Alexanderson, who will be having a wait to see if anyone can beat her. But she's set down a brilliant mark, with this time going 14 minutes exactly, and throws herself over the line in the way we are now accustomed, and takes a huge gap over the rest of the field. Second place currently Alice Leak, and she will be having a long nervous wait. A lot of the other favourites are starting much later.
She lost some seconds there at the last control, so let's hope for her that won't be the decisive moment.
So she initially tried to punch the start control.
Yeah, she saw the flag from the start point, and of course there's no sport ident device on that one, so she can't punch it.
No, she can't. Let's talk now about Carolyn Olsen, who's running all of the races today at this WOC.
Yeah, and let's see if she's taking the Swedish route choice. No.
Oh.
That's not good. I mean, there are more risks on this route choice, but it's definitely the shorter one.
Yes.
And I think also if you execute this route choice well, it's the faster one.
Yeah,
but as you see, it's hard to execute.
Surprising some children, they're still looking behind themselves to see everyone. But Judith Vida is, I think, on a par now with Alexanderson. It's going to be very, very close at
a little bit behind.
Splits.
Some seconds.
Let's have a look. Well, I think she's going to be the closest yet, but still behind the time of Alexanderson. And we must remember that Alexanderson was 40 seconds quicker than Ananari in the middle part of the course, built up 40 seconds. Vida being a little bit hesitant there, but she knows how to push.
Yeah, and it's also a quality that you can stop as soon as you're not secure, and not just continue without reading the map carefully. I mean, she might have lost 1 second there by taking
but at least
an
she
extra
lost 5.
view. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if she would have picked the wrong one, she probably would have lost more. So that's a quality as well.
And now we've got Maja Alm, and I think she is slightly behind at this point. This is control number 6. She's our final starter. She's chasing down Judith Vida, who's the second to last starter. She's already behind Alexanderson and is going to slip, I think. She's very very slow into the approach there.
Yeah,
just
she
checking.
doesn't want to leave the control before she knows the way to the next one. And that's what often, like the runners a bit behind the top, they don't dare to take these stops and read the map carefully. But if you always, when you see the top runners, you notice that they are actually the runners stopping if they're insecure.
So Elena Ross now into the run-in, but she's already behind the time of Alex Anderson. Actually going to be reasonably close though, as she goes on to the final stages, caught up the runner ahead of her, and will finish in the second spot, 16 seconds down.
At TV2, she was 22 seconds behind, so we know that Alex Anderson, she lost some seconds there at the last control, so at least 6 seconds she lost there.
So fast finishing, Elena Ross goes into second spot, just being congratulated by the Latvian Sandra Gosberger as well. Again, we'll have a wait. Where was she in the first TV split? She was 8th, and has gradually been pulling it back. This is the standings though at the finish. Over Alex Anderson from Sweden with a 16-second lead ahead of Elena Roos. Alex Sleek in 3rd place. Let's have a look at some of the routes though. Vida definitely fastest into number 1 with her route choice. I think Maya Alm's making some hesitations at some of the controls, dropping time. Vida and Alex Anderson very, very close together at this point. It's difficult to tell through all of the routes.
I see the comparison there.
She's not really lost any time, I don't think. Well, those are the standings at split number 1 after we've had the final starter, Maya Alm, go through. Alex Anderson in the lead, 3.4 seconds ahead of Vida and Anari in 3rd spot. We've also got Alexandra Hornick doing very well, Caroline Olsen from Sweden doing well as well, Maya Alm and Lena Strand and Elena Roos, who we've just seen into 2nd spots there. So still all to play for. Natalia Gempele crosses the line, but she's 50 seconds behind the time, goes 4th. No medal for her today. It's going to be, she's almost used to taking medals now. It's going to be weird for her not to be standing on a podium. But that's a testament to just how consistent a runner she is. But here's the woman who's going to be having a nervous wait. Luckily it's a sprint and it all tends to happen very quickly. But now we can follow Lena Strand on the way to TV control number 2. That is number 15. She's running north up the tracks.
Alexandersson punching there in 11:37, I think. So she's already behind and has some seconds to go there.
And there was a route choice to 15, but we have seen everybody going the same way, which is what we kind of expected when we pre-ran the course.
We expected it. I don't think the course setter.
No.
Because we know that the TV team was at the other position first.
Yeah. But the adaptability is there. And so Lena Strand will go just into 2nd spot. But we know that Elena Ross from Switzerland had a fast finish and caught up maybe 10 seconds at the finish, so it is possible. Anastasia Denisova is also on her way to out of control number 14, heading to number 15, but is in 10 seconds going to be behind Alex Anderson's time. So I want to say the bronze medalist from 2 years ago. Yep. Hasn't been able to match that medal-winning performance from Strömstad, as she again takes this same route choice. This is basically the only bit of climb in the entire course.
Yeah.
Not even joking. And just look around here, just that's tricky, isn't it, when you've got a massive crowd of people just in your way. But let's have a look at the route choices now.
I think Alex Anderson is taking the better route choice in this part.
But the two of them are running very, very close together.
Yeah.
Vida possibly just ahead. It's really difficult to tell. But this is Judith Vida. She's coming out of control number 14. We will get the next time check at control number 15, where Tove Alexanderson was 11 minutes 37. So we'll be able to tell you then who is in the lead. Remember, we've also got Maya Alm coming, and it's probably those three going to be the real contenders. And that's what you have to do to get through. But she's the only one who's taken the other route choice that way, I think. They've seen her coming before, so hopefully no. But this is Judith Vida, number 44. As we also see Lina Strand, who's gone.
She lost some time, I think. I think she was she had almost the same time as Elena Roos.
Yeah, well, I think Elena Roos gained some time at the end. It was a pretty similar compared to Alexanderson, but has thrown herself across the line for third spot currently.
Yeah, it was about the same in the end.
So here we have Judith Vida going to plunge split control number 2, and she's 10 seconds down. But with a fast finish like the one we saw from Elena Roos, that could be very, very close with Tove Alexanderson. But here's the final starter, Maya Alm. We know she's very, very fast speed. She even looking to be running at the Olympics in Tokyo over 5,000 meters. That is such is the speed of Maya Alm, and also arguably possibly in better shape than she was this time last year, but seems to be making quite a lot of hesitations into controls.
Yeah, it's always hard to say from the pictures on the
well?
camera.
I think it's raining.
Yeah. It starts to rain. It also looks like that on the
cobbles
ground,
as well. So that's going to make it slippy. And so Maya Alm going to this control, punches in second spot, 4.1 seconds.
But we know that Alexanderson had some problems at the last control, so that's still not over here. I think that might be exactly the gap there.
Yeah, she had some, so if you missed it, she had some problems punching literally the last control before the run-in. It's also started raining here now in the arena as well. Just she tried to punch the start control instead of control 17, but we're now going to look for Judith Vida to head through here. First, though, is Caroline Olsen, and she's already behind the leader's time, Tove Alexanderson, but still
that's not the control.
Yeah, but that's the mistake we saw Alexanderson do as well. But now fighting over the last few stages, really, really pumping those arms to head up the run-in, and it's just going to be too late for a medal there for Caroline Olsen going fourth. So 4 Swedes in the top 4 at the moment. It's 32 seconds behind Alexanderson, and will be kicking herself for that little miss there. But we're now going to wait for our final starters. This is Judith Vida. She's also heading to the wrong one there.
Spectators are
may realise a little bit quicker, I think.
Yeah,
everyone pointing.
It's not enough for the medal. Gold medal at least.
So it's not enough for the gold medal, but Judith Vida is now going to come towards the finish line. She's heading for a second place, just pushing her teammate down into the bronze medal position with only one runner left. So we have Maya Alm left to see whether she can make what colour her medal will be. I think it's going to all come down to whether she gets that final control or not. And a little shake of the head there. Maya Alm is being shown exactly where to go.
That's almost a bit too much help
yeah.
there, in my opinion.
She now can put her head down and run, and she's got 24 seconds to make it. So Maya Alm heading into the finish now. She's got 20 seconds for her 4th straight victory at the World Orienteering Championships sprint race. Maya Alm goes first with 16.9 seconds. What an incredible finish there for Maya Alm. We know she lost a few. I think you can see she's lost a few seconds from hesitation, but such is the speed of the Dane to take it fourth, and I think she's very concerned
to first have to check the sporting device.
It should come up on our system when it's being confirmed, but I'm sure we'll get a reaction there from Maya Alm. We'll get the thumbs up.
We learned that at the European Championships.
We did
Don't
indeed.
celebrate too early.
There's a little bit of nerves there. Oh, you can. Yep,
And
that must be
she
it.
got it.
So a fourth successive title from Maja Alm from Denmark, having an incredible finish. And I think even if she missed that, she wouldn't have lost 16 seconds there. So absolutely the queen of the sprint. This is the race she's been building up to. Didn't have quite the result she wanted to at the Europeans, but this is the one that mattered. And Danish coach there, very, very excited to be able to celebrate that with her.
While we stood the men's start and Mattia de Bertoli from Italy started.
Yeah, very impressive race. She was a little bit behind in the beginning, but still it seemed that she has control over the race. There were no big mistakes, and I think just the beginning when you have very many short decisions to take, and it's very tricky orienteering. And I think her biggest strength compared to the other competitors is the running speed. So, and that's really something that she could use in the end of the course, and that for sure helped her to build up that gap in the beginning.
Yeah, made a possible little mistake through to 2 to 3, maybe just going a little bit slower. I think she's making hesitations there, and I think we saw that at the TV points, but she's making hesitations but then getting the decision right.
Yeah, it was,
and
it
I think
seems
that's
that she
paid
was
off.
like, and here we have Vida taking a bit of slower route choice there, running an S-shaped route choice, as we talked about earlier.
It's very, very close between all of them, but even I think Vida didn't. Again, a similar route choice into 13. Let's see where Maja Alm takes it, and that's the route choice.
Yeah, Vida lost some time for sure there.
So Maja Alm was the only one to kind of take the S-bend route choice to number 16, and I think that's where she picked up the time, and is on, and obviously such a strong runner. But I think I remember her losing time at the Europeans based on route choice, often making the wrong route choice. Her tactics today to maybe do that little bit more hesitation, but get the route choices right, and it's paid off, and you can see that one at the end.
And it was a different race compared to the Europeans, because there you often had many possibilities on one route. You might have had 5 different route choices that worked, and then it was very hard to pick the right one. Here it was more that you had 2 possible route choices, and then you had to go executing them well when you picked them, and you could lose quite a lot on one picking it wrong.
Yeah, well, I think you can see 16 seconds there.
A little bit of a surprise, good result for Lina Strand, the first time at the World Championships. I think it's the first time top 10 for her in a
and a podium
race.
Spot there as well as a bonus.
She has been before on top 3 in the World Cup, but never on a championship, and also a good result for Karin Olsson, even if I personally expected maybe that she's a little bit closer to the very top.
The home runner Sandra Grosberg from Latvia is making a top 20 as well, and you can see Laura Robertson there, good 23rd from her. Maria Prieto, one of the first starters from Spain. Is this maybe the time we're going to start seeing some Spanish women's sprinters to kind of begin to make a stronger mixed relay team? I think.
Hopefully. I mean, they have a very good team in the men's class for the mixed relay.
Yeah.
So if she can run tomorrow as she did today, I think they can end up in a good position.
Well, the heavens have opened here in Riga, but we do have some umbrellas, and the top will make it now to the podium for the flower ceremony. We were, as is usual with these races, as we get another umbrella there, we present the flowers first, and then the results are made official in case there's any protests, anything like that, and then we'll present the medals later. But third spot from Switzerland, it is Judith Vida.
Quite an unusual picture here to see some rain.
We'll be enjoying it though. So takes a bronze to add to her silver from European Championships this year. Tove Alexanderson in silver medal spots, and to take her 4th straight World Sprint Championship title. It is Maja Alm from Denmark, and I think what a spectacular victory, edging it out, I think, of the last moment. The three of them all around the course, so close to each other, only a few seconds, and that's what we really like to see in the sprint. But Maya Alm, I mean, she is the queen of sprint, and it's for a reason, because she really pulls it together at times like this.
I mean, let's be honest, 17 seconds, that's quite a gap. Even if we know that Alexandersson, she missed the last control more than Maya Alm did. She got some help there, but still I don't think she would have missed it by 17 seconds. Would it have been some... If it would have been like 1 or 2 seconds, I think there would be discussions about that.
Yes.
I'm quite happy we can skip those discussions, because 17 seconds, that's a big gap.
You don't lose 17 seconds just faffing around at that control, but yeah. Oh, the heavens really have opened here, but that does make it an even playing field for the men's course, which we'll start to turn to now. I think we've got 46
I think we already started it.
We've already started it. Yeah, the first starter was 5 minutes ago. No, it wasn't 5 minutes ago.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was 5 minutes ago. Mattia Devatolis, it's his birthday today.
And I think you see a lot there.
It's a 4.3 kilometre course with 18 controls, 20 metres of climb this time, but pretty much as flat as a pancake. And again, expected winning time 13 minutes. We had 14 minutes exactly from Anderson, a little bit faster obviously from Maya Alm. This is the course.
Yeah, and we have a very similar course compared to the women's course. The beginning is the very same, I think. We have these short controls in the beginning, long leg to the fourth control, fifth control. Then this first time with an artificial fence to the sixth control. We saw some differences, especially in the first three controls in the women's race. Again, same route choice, 7-8. Also, I think it's exactly the same course to the passage here, arena passage. 11-12, you have this 13th control down, and the route choice here to 15, where we've seen almost all of the women going to the left, taking the stairs up there. And now we have a little bit along here to 16. There's a new route choice, again with an artificial fence, an in choice to number 17, where you can choose to go to the right a little bit, avoid the narrow parts, or you can go to the left and go into this a little bit more narrow part again, where you have been around by control number 6. And here we see this is the additional route choice, one of them. I think actually at that you can also choose a mixture between the blue one and the green one, running out to the left if you leave the control 16, and then cut over into the green route choice. And it's
the shortest one
is the blue one, but you have to go this very narrow part, and we have seen the camera there, the artificial fence. And if you hit another runner coming, I think most of the runners, they will try to avoid that, and I think we will see most of the runners taking the green route choice. It looks easiest to execute, and it's quite okay when it comes to the distance as well.
So, talk me through some start lists with the fastest going off last.
Yeah, we have seen Martin Hoopman really early start. Maybe not that much of a disadvantage now in the men's race, because we had the women's race almost the same course before. Emil Svensk, very good runner, quite early. Rekborn, and then very big names in the end. We have them here already on this page: Daniel Hoopman and Matthias Kiburtz, the two European champions. Also Chris Jones, bronze medalist from the European Championships. Andreu Blanes from Spain, very strong runner. We have a kind of a living legend with Andrei Kramov, world champion 2009 and 2008. And of course the runner from Turkey, Ahmed Kaçmaz, he did a really good race this morning. But I mean, I don't want to be negative, but it was a very physical qualification, and I think he will have slightly bigger problems to get the same result this afternoon. And I think this is a replay of the start. Martin Hoopman, who has forest discipline at the World Championship, so he's really a specialist in sprint.
Matthias Grill from Austria. As we can see, Martin Hubman has set the fastest time to split number 1, which again is control number 7.
And I'm quite happy, you mentioned it before, that actually the race came in the end of the women's race. The favorites had the same conditions to run in, and now we have the men's race with rain, so it's the same for everyone.
So Trond Einemann Pedersli is next to start from Norway, and I think all of the Norwegians qualified into the final, as did all of the Swedes, all of the Brits, and all of the runners from Poland. They only have 5 runners competing in these sprint championships.
And then when you say that, you mention in both classes,
yes, men's and women's classes, yeah. So good strength across both of the classes there. Roman Siabani from Romania. Now you get to see how slippery those cobbles get, but I mean, even if it starts to dry up towards the end of the race, the ground will still be dampish. So similar conditions.
And since we will have we will have the biggest favorites within 15 minutes. It won't be a very big difference. It would have been different if it had started raining in like the last 5 minutes from the starting list.
Yeah.
And some of the runners would have had the whole course in rain or just 5 minutes. That would have been a difference. But if it's like that, I think it's very.
Sprinting out of the way, but now on his way to split control number 2 after just over 10 minutes of running. Now the men have got a little bit further to go at the end of the course, but still an expected win time, of course.
And I expect him set like a time that we will see standing for quite a long time. Of course, I mean, we know he has won medals before in the sprint, so he really should be able to challenge all the other runners. And he missed the stairs. It's actually, since it's the first time here that you have to climb a little bit, you don't really know if it goes down or up.
You know what? That might not have been. That's probably not slower.
Yeah, but it's not really what you expect, or you don't really know what to expect. And he just missed it there. I don't think he lost a lot of time. It's always a little bit slow to climb in the stairs as well. But still, of course, it was 1 or 2 seconds he lost.
Hubman's technique, it didn't even look like he punched that control. They just completely ran past it. We can tell he's got the split and goes into the new fastest time.
From here, that control, we have a different route choice than we saw the women have. It's a little bit longer, the course from there. That's Peter Hodgkinson.
Goes into 5th spot. It's a good time to mention. We've got a lot. I know there's a lot of juniors listening to here. They're all at the Laganlear training camp up in Scotland. All loads of 14-year-olds having what a great week, and I know they're all listening. So I thought I'd give them a bit of a shout out. Could see some good future sprinters from any distance from that camp.
So the shoe choice. He wasn't running in slicks. He had some profile under his feet.
Svensk one of 6 through, all 6 Swedes making it through to the final. And actually, another thing we haven't said yet about the rain, fewer tourists. Mm-hmm. They'll all go run for cover, go to a cafe or something like that.
Yeah, so moving closer to the building, so it might be easier for the runners to move forward.
Ricardo Esteves Pereira from Portugal goes 6th fastest now.
And then here we saw the problems you can have when it's slippery. It's hard to take the turns there. You can take it as you would like to. So it slows you down a little bit. But I think the rain might stop very soon again. It opens up a little bit.
I mean, who knows? But Riccardo Scale is the next to start from Italy. I can say almost all of the Italians qualified through to this final. Oh, standing still there, Trond Einemann Pedersli.
And then we also see Martin Hubman in front of him here. but we have a new problem here. Everyone is taking shelter.
So he's into the final few stages. I think he's got one more control and then our final control as well. So very soon we'll see him at the finish line itself. Jakob Edson from Denmark, and we were chatting to the Danish coach yesterday saying that 60% of their team are injured at the moment. So
he's more happy today than he was positive yesterday evening, I can tell you.
Yes, definitely. That fourth successive gold title for Maja Alm will certainly put the Danes into a good mood. But here we can see
that's the
live on
choice to the
Pedersli.
8th control. And you can see you can back out from 7, pass control 6 again, and then you get quite an easy, smooth way to the left, or you can go to the right, and then you have to take this S-shaped route.
For Martin Hübmann, he was the starter, and in fact he's caught up this Minuteman Mattia de Bertollis, who will still be the first finisher on his birthday, but Martin Hübmann takes the current lead, and that will be a time that we expect to see for some time, a good early benchmark of just how fast this course can be taken. Well, it's 14:51.
Still, as I said, I don't believe it will go down on 13.
To 13,
yeah.
No. Mikael Nick.
Goes the outline, so that could be a very challenging ranking. Jan Alkroft is 41 in the European Championship.
Is down into 9th spot, so top 10, about 25 seconds of each other.
And that's the part where you can actually, we could come back on the later route choice, and I just imagine someone there when you come around the corner. I think that's actually something that influences your route choice on the way back. You have been there before, you know how it looks like, and I think you want to avoid that.
So Emil Svensk looks like he's going to set a new fastest time at split control number 1, so it goes 3 seconds faster than Moen Pedersli of Norway. And being a little bit hesitant there, but
a lot of hesitating here. I think if you're hesitating like that, you lose 2-3 seconds running a little bit slower.
And you can also see the stride.
Yeah,
when you just the actual speed you're getting through there, even if you're not hesitating as such, the speed is slower.
Oh, that was an interesting route choice. Svensk, we haven't seen that before. I think he lost some time there. And now here we see.
It's the GPS,
yeah, the
so I'm not
GPS is
sure.
not very accurate there.
The two of them look very, very close.
Was he continuing there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully
was he continuing? The standings at split 1 put Emil Svensk 3 seconds ahead of Trond Einar Moen Pedersli from Norway, in 3rd place Martin Hübmann 4.1 seconds behind. He's our current leader at the finish, with the top 10 there within 26.8 seconds.
And the next start will speak number 120, representing Finland, Alex Niemi. We finished 2 years ago in 24th place.
So Alexi Niemi is next to start from Finland. His best position in the sprint has so far been 24th in 2016, when WOC was held in Sweden. Got the 23-year-old looking to try and in, well, very different conditions to the ones we saw in Johnson. Very different kind. Jakob Edson now has had a pretty decent start. Place, but only 8.6 seconds down. And we know there seconds can be won and lost very, very quickly. But looking better through this part compared to...
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Wow. Well, he's the one we've seen going furthest down those steps, definitely. I spoke too soon. Curse the commentator, isn't it? And getting some tourists. All good on.
Martin Rekborn.
Eyes are focused there from Martin Rekborn on the start line. Took 7th place in the sprint last time out in Estonia.
Also 2 years ago in Sweden. But he didn't really... He's European champs, he didn't really get the results I expected from him. When we look at the last seasons, when he was competing in competitions in Sweden, he wasn't exactly as strong as he was in earlier years. But he's very strong physically, and that he managed to get his shape right now.
I'm
today.
Sorry, you just run into a bus that's just coming out there. That's brilliant. Anyway, Artis Palins is the next to start for Latvia. The 29-year-old took 28th spot last time out, 2017. And get a lot of support as he goes round the course today. We can already hear it.
He developed quite well. He had almost all his best results at the World Championships last year. He had a 28th position in sprint. He came 20th in. So that looks good for home ground. And here we see that they took different route choices, and that was definitely longer.
That was a lot slower.
And here I think that's 8-9 was where Wiede lost a bit time doing that S-shaped route choice compared to the other ones, running a bit more around.
Osman of also not taking what we know to be the shortest, definitely, route choice to
we
control
don't know about
the rate.
the fast. But now I think when you don't have as many tourists in your way, the straight route choice might be a bit faster.
Anyway, we'll certainly see a different flip of Riga as we take that route choice.
Jonas Vitaitis Bildis. One of the runs, he was strong 7 years ago in France World Championships, also 1 year later in Switzerland. He had many top 10 results at the World Championships back then, but he didn't really manage to keep that level or develop even further up the result list the last years.
So it's Antonio Martinez Perez, also taking the same route choice as Osman. Roman Sibanu finished. Thumbs up there. But enjoying the rain now.
It actually stopped raining now.
Martin Hubman still in the leader's chair. Peter Hodkinson now to also punch and looking for a second spot there for the Brits as he makes the line, just checking he's punched the control there, and will stick his helm out to cross the line first and goes into.
Now we are with Emil Svensk on the way to the second TV split.
Yeah, we can say Martin Hubman's leading at the second TV split at the moment. Again, avoiding the stairs, which can slow you down. It's still raining over this part of Riga, and pulls on, but still looking very confident. Some unsuspecting tourist about to get. There we go.
The tourists were prepared.
Big one.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. We had the time from in the women's 36 at that time, I think, from Alexandersson. So around 25 seconds difference, 24.
Yeah, and because the courses are pretty much the same apart from
was
the
exactly
end,
the same
exactly the same apart from
beginning,
the end, then you can have that comparison if you wish. And you can see just the strides getting shorter, cadence is getting quicker as you, at this point, keeping the balance actually as well, and just being able to change the very quickly. But Simon Pedersen is now on his way to the final control, and I don't think there's going to be any problems with this final control that we saw in the women's, simply because of the direction that they're approaching from. But Pedersen goes just to push Peter Holgersen down into third spot, goes second fastest, 14 seconds behind Martin Hoodman. Early time still leads.
Artus Paulins.
Just cutting the corner there. And I think also checking his route out on his way into that control.
Like to do that, but you don't see now. It's the first time you've seen a runner coming from the other direction, and also he's checking out. Yeah, take a look there at the corner. And could it be? It could have been Svensk.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's not coming to the finish yet, so I think so. It's on the way to like the 18th.
second last control.
Yeah.
Like from the Czech Republic. It's the first time he's running the sprint at the World Championships.
Yep, his second World Championships, ran the long last year and finished 34th. Standings at split one. Emil Svensk still in the lead, 3 seconds ahead of Pedersen from Norway, and then Martin Hoodman, who's still leading in third spot. Everybody else at the moment falling by the wayside, but we do know there are seconds to be made and lots of the course, with a current leading time of 14 minutes 51 seconds.
Emil Svensk.
So Emil Svensk gritting his teeth, and I think powering into the
40 seconds left to beat the time from Martin Hoodman. I think we'll see a new leader very soon.
And definitely got to takes the corner quite well. Go up the run in now. It's quite a narrow run in. Will cross the line to take the new fastest time there. Just push Martin Hoodman off the leader's chair, and his time 40 minutes 28.5.
We have seen him taking some of the route choices not perfectly. I remember the way where I've seen Martin Hoodman running the S shape. He continued his head and running around. I think he must have lost some seconds there. This is Andreas Kiburt, had many struggles with injuries during the last years, but seems to be back on track now. He got injured in the European Championships. He had quite a good radio time there.
Oh,
back with some rain here.
It's really storming down now. Perez is
the sun is shining.
One. Sunshine, and we've got rain here, but as we've been saying throughout this race, the rain came right at the end of the women's race, so should be similar.
And it's
result
quite nice for
conditions
the
for both
runners
of
to
them.
have a little bit of rain. It's refreshing.
It does cool the temperature down somewhat, and also cools your running as well.
So he is missing the stairs. I don't think this was a choice from the beginning.
No, that is going around by quite a lot there.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, missed the stairs by a bit, but not by that much.
No, of course.
Perez already behind Sven, but still has a good running time overall. Pushing into third spot there, just under 10 seconds behind Svensk, who is still our lead at the finish.
Jakobitsen to the finish. We have Hoopman in second place, 14 minutes 51.
So Jakob Edson running now for a second. And yep, goes second place for Jakob Edson there. And in a Danish team that's already seen a gold medal being awarded today for Maya Alm, if you missed that one. 3-1, Sigurd Cernis from Latvia getting a send-off. That was just a little replay, and we've seen Egbon on his way to split number 2. Taking the stairs here and the opportunity to read the map and really push it on.
You can see he was really well prepared. He was expecting the stairs coming, and when we remember back, he expect the stairs to come, so he first had to check if there should be stairs, should he go up there or not, and so he had to run around.
But Egbon's time is good, and it puts 2 Swedes into the lead now on this. His campaign here to see if he can take another gold this season. He shared the gold medal European Championships with his teammates.
There's some impressive statistics around Hoopman going on. Yes, I think it's his 46th World Championships race. He had 45 before, and if I remember right, it was 24 medals, so he has more than 50% out of all his races he got a medal.
And I think here we can see generally taking some good route choices, and and I think running speed means he's ahead of Martinez Perez from Spain.
Interesting to follow this route chase all the way to the second last control.
But from the Czech Republic is next to set off, and
he got his first World Cup victory last year in a sprint, so that's a name we have on our list here for this race. It's also a runner who developed very well during the last year, especially last year. He was, I think he was in 6th place in the sprint. He was also 6th place in the sprint 2 years ago, and he followed many good results also in the World Cup later on the year.
Andreas Kiberts has gone 6th, and actually looking pretty good through this small passage here. Again, shortening, keeping the speed and the urgency up fairly well. Knew exactly where he was turning.
Talking about Kiberts.
Yes, indeed. So Matthias Kiberts next to start. He didn't qualify in the top spots. Only number 134, but I mean, this is one who might be having a nervous wait at the end for some of the latter runners.
His main focus this year is in the long distance, of course, for the sprint as well. But I think if he would choose one distance really good at this year, it would be the long distance.
And why is that?
I mean, he has won every other distance, so that's kind of natural that he's going for that one.
It's the one he still collects. We see powering his way to the control and then the finish. Current leader Emil Skvensk, his time 14 minutes 28. So Niemi is now still slower, but could head into a medal after 20 runners. We've got 26 here today in the men's competition, but Niemi from Finland will go second.
Yeah. Can you translate?
Can you?
I think I'm quite sure he was greeting someone home.
Yeah, me too. Martin Park. Time is going to be close-ish to that of Emil Svensk.
I don't think he will beat Svensk, but he will definitely go for second.
Yeah, well, he's second to make a beat Svensk, is that, but does going to go into second spot. 6.3 seconds behind. Regborn makes it Sweden 1 and Sweden 2.
Yeah, and I think we can tell that the route choice to the second goal was obviously Svensk hit, because Regborn, he lost 5 seconds from the second TV split to the finish.
But here is a figure we know very well and a very popular one at that, Daniel Hubman. He's looking very strong.
10 seconds left to and also he is shouting some words. And this is a new best time, I think. Yes.
Yep, by 0.6 seconds, Daniel Hubman the lead. Early stages of this corner, minutes and 11 seconds of running. Oh, and yeah, that's the danger we said about as well, but at least not a head-first collision.
And I think the parts of the course here, well, it's really demanding to always be ahead, and you have to be very quick in your decisions, and I think that's something that he has so much routine. He got it over all the years he was competing, so I think it's not a big surprise that he is he's doing well in the beginning here.
I mean, it's not the most technical map, really,
no,
but you wouldn't necessarily think that.
I would say that the course set did a job. Don't have a lot of time for the coming controls.
Søsgaard goes now. We also have Wojciech Kral, who is, I think he is down times early on. But Kral splits the Brits and goes 15th.
Here he is, living legend Andrej Kral.
He's one of your favourites.
He has been forever, it seems.
And already has a gold medal to his name. I think that's a little slip down the run out, but it doesn't put him off too much.
This morning.
But Kiberts now, let's have a look at his time. Well, it's behind Hubman, goes into equal 6th place. 6.3 seconds down at the first point, but
compared to Hubman, I would say that is in the very he really can play physical strength. I mean, in my mind, I see the control to the second TV split, where you have about a minute just running mostly.
Yeah, and I think the biggest in Morphley, lots more changes of controls close on, and really quite distinct parts of the course that you're going to be that maybe seen Daniel Hubman to be better at initially. But coming up to 14, I think it's it.
Yeah, have to go to it right there. Know the fastest time at that point. It's Martin de Regborn, 10 minutes 54.
So looking pretty good at the moment with 12 seconds to spare. It's going to be quite close, but keeping a good start going. It's Anders Kiberts.
Yeah.
His brother hot on his heels.
Good. Half a second ahead. Regborn, we know that Regborn some time to the finish, because we still have him.
Just had Luca Basse start. 17th last year. has a much better starting position this time after but all off two Spanish side of Rio, nearly taking the stairs.
You can almost see when the runner come and they don't lower the speed, then they will just continue straight there.
Yes, of letting you navigate those routes.
Here to turn the left there, and this is the big surprise from this morning, Ahmed Katzmat. Still not sure if I say the name right.
Me neither, but applaud for a great and
it's really good to see that runners from smaller orienteering countries show the other countries that we are someone.
Sprint is just waiting. We'll see that even more so when the World Championships are split into the sprints and the forest disciplines as well. Artem Popov from Russia qualified second in his heat. And took 43rd championship, so for him.
Has a 24th position from last year's. So definitely a very good qualification. Here we have Hoopman. Time at this point is 10:53.
Well,
Andreas Gewurz, and we will see a new best time here.
We absolutely will.
The European champion Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we're back
we are
now.
back with. I think we just had a little power outage in the boxes where we were doing commentary, but we are back. We missed Daniel Hubman, who set a new fastest time at the lead. We'll bring that to you when we get the confirmation. But Miloš Nikodin now for the Czech Republic, but 17th position there. This is Wojciech Kral though into the
Wojciech
final
Kral
spots.
On the way to the finish, and he's coming in
So there we go.
position.
We can see that Daniel Hubman's time 14:01.7, but Wojciech Kral into, well, not making a difference in the medals there. So but we have Matthias Kibert now into the finish, but he is behind on the time of Daniel Hubman. So one of the European champions is not going to be in the lead, and he's also slipped behind his brother as well, Andreas Kibert. So goes into the third fastest spots, but Switzerland 1, 2, 3 at the moment, just sneaking in ahead of Emil Svensk as well. So 3 Swiss guys we see on the
look at
podium.
Matthias, he got beaten by his older brother. I think he will hear that in the coming years.
I think he will hear that in the coming years. But the 3 runners from Switzerland are the top 3 at the finish at the moment. But they all started fairly early. We've still got some other
Yannick
ones to
Michels
come.
on the way to the first split. Maybe we can give you the information. We had some power problems here earlier. We disappeared totally, and we don't have the split time, so we have to get ourselves a little bit updated as well here.
Yeah, we'll have to reset our bearings, and we can see that heat winner Tim Robertson is doing very, very well at the early point as well. Current leader at split control number 1.
And that's Jonas Leandersson, the man who started last.
So he'll be chasing all the others, and still got 5 seconds to go to see if he's going to be faster than Tim Robertson, who went 1.5 seconds ahead of our current leader Daniel Hubman. So good start from Robertson with saw Chris Jones there also in 6th position.
And also a good start from Jonas Leandersson.
So still very, very tight amongst the first spots. Nearly slips over and falls down all at the set of stairs there, but with some urgency hurries back out. And we're back with Luca Basset of France. There's a few silver medals to his name, does Luca Basset, but is behind now, and you can also see second place currently to split 2 is Chris Jones. Luca Basset is going to be just out of the top 10 so far, 36 seconds behind Daniel Hubman. Again, just a reminder, he is our current leader at the finish, with Andreas Kibertz second, and keeping in the family, Matthias Kibertz third. So standings at split one, after all runners having gone through that point. Tim Robertson lead of 1.5 seconds, with Daniel Hubman, Emil Svensk in third, Jonas Lianesen fourth, Pedersen fifth, and Chris Jones in sixth spots.
He had that before. 3 Swiss guys taking the medals at the sprint in World Championships 2012 in Switzerland. It was Matthias Kibertz in front of Matthias Metz, and in third place it was Matthias Müller. It was called Matthias Müller at that time, now Matthias Leonhardt. I hope I remember the order of the medals right. I'm sure that Kibertz won and that there were 3 Swiss guys on the top.
Otherwise, you'll get thoroughly beaten up later.
I have to explain myself
Yeah,
at home.
you will. Ahmet Kazmaz of Turkey, a surprise second finisher in the heats. Now on his way to control number 15. And is already considerably behind. Artem Popov now also to split control number 2, catching up the runner from Turkey. So Popov again down on the leading times. He took 24th spot in the sprint last year, but Popov also into 10th spots.
That's Miloš Nikodem, Czech Republic.
Yeah, really using this time, as we said before, to check out the route choices, exactly where you're going. Again, another route choice out of the following control as well.
No, that leads to that he is very well prepared around the corner here, running up the stairs. Here we see that in second position we have Chris Jones there, 10 seconds behind.
But Miloš Nikodem, with 27 seconds behind, goes into 8th spot. So some of these runners finishing second, third in their heats, fourth maybe, not quite as fast as the ones who are currently leading. This is where, as long as you qualify.
I mean, for a runner like Ahmet Kazmaz, who is not very experienced in such a situation, he has to wait a very long time in the quarantine, and that might make him a bit more nervous than he really would like to be.
Well, Tim Robertson just gone into second place, only 2.4 seconds behind Daniel Hubman at our second TV control. That's looking pretty good. He was the fastest qualifier. So too was Yannick Michels, who's just now at control number 14. He is our penultimate starter, and along with Jonas Andersen was one of the 3 heat leaders from earlier on today. But I...
It's quite a good job from the cameraman there, following the runners all the way.
Yeah, and he too knows exactly where he needs to head up these steps and then through the archway on the right. But he is behind Daniel Hubman and also now behind Robertson. It's going to be also looking like he's going to go behind Chris Jones of Great Britain, currently in third spot at split control number 2.
And he is one of the runners focusing very much on this sprint race today. I mean, we know that his best results are all from just sprint races, so and he's not really, unfortunately, he doesn't really have other runners around him to do well in the sprint relay, so he has more or less just this one race for the whole competition or for the whole week to focus on. That's not that easy. I mean, you have to. I mean, you have other runners like Kibbutz, Hutman. They have other chances if they can perform today, but he has only one chance to perform, and it's very impressive that he manages to do so. So far, at least.
As we say with the English idiom, he has all his eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
He's got the one chance to make it.
Let's hope that he won't crack the eggs.
Okay, Jonas Leandersson is our final starter, and we're looking for him round the corner. We'll get the time check at split control number 2. Currently there at that point, still Daniel Hubman, but he's lost a lot of time. And surely this is too much now for Leandersson to make any impact.
Yeah.
So around there, with 46 seconds lost, and we haven't got the. That is, yeah.
Here we have the comparison, Hopman against Leandersson, and we see that he actually was running in. I think that's where he lost quite a bit of his.
He was about to go down the route with the barrier.
And I mean, this takes an influence on the whole route choice. I'm sure he didn't plan to go like that. And
with 8 seconds to remain, Tim Robertson from New Zealand is on the run, and it's going to be very close between him and Daniel Hubman. Can Tim Robertson just edge out the runner from Switzerland? No, it's going to be slightly too late. He goes into silver medal spot, 1.1 second down behind Daniel Hubman. Whoa, that was pretty close, and Daniel Hubman looks to be very, very relieved at this point. And
he is quite sure that he is going to take it.
There's only 2 more runners left out there, Yannick Michels and Jonas Leandersson. So,
but they were quite a bit behind.
They were quite a bit behind, which is why Daniel Hubman is celebrating once again. But I think, first of all, let's have a little word for the Kiwi.
What a race by Tim Robertson.
His previous
really
sprint best, 13th 2 years ago. So going to take a silver medal spot there.
I mean, we knew that he's a good runner when it comes to sprint, but he never really managed to show it when it really counted. And today he really got it, and he was so close to become the world champion.
Yannick Michels now into the final control, but already I think behind the times that he needs to make to get the top 2. Still in a shout of a medal though, Yannick Michels, who's going to power up the line. It's going to be very close. Can he edge the Swiss runners out? And he goes 4th. He goes 4th in 0.6 seconds out, and no. Oh, I think that is how close you can come to a medal. 0.6 seconds out into 4th.
It would be nice to see Kibbutz now, because he will definitely feel totally the other way around.
Yeah.
His first medal, I think.
Yeah, you are right. Well, for Daniel Hubman, it'll be his 3rd gold just in the sprints. His 8th gold medal in the World Championships overall. There's still one more runner yet to finish, Jonas Leandersson, but we know he was 45 seconds behind at our split control number 2.
Yeah, and there's his wife. And also his child, Lina. Getting a kiss there. So you can see he is becoming a dad again very soon.
So congratulations there, as Daniel Hubman keeps his more than 50% record of getting a medal at these things. But here's Jonas Leandersson into the final stages. He was our final starter today, but way down in the rankings. Not going to make any impact.
We could see him doing some mistake when he
control number 8
was running into an artificial, into the alley with an artificial fence. I don't know if it influenced his route choice there as well. Would he have chosen that route choice if he had planned all the way to the control or not? So Yeah, I think he lost time, plus he got a little bit of bad feeling for sure for the rest of the course, but we will see him again. He will run forest disciplines as well this year. He was very strong the whole spring, so he gets the chance to run other disciplines as well. And this is the silver medalist, Tim Robertson.
And that's a great result. And this is what we really like to see, I think, in the sprints as well. It's having those, as we just talked about before, that the smaller nations, the playing field is possibly that little bit more even in the sprints. And this is where we can see the top 10, the final results. We'll get official confirmation later on, but Daniel Hubman takes the win, 1.1 seconds ahead of New Zealander Tim Robertson, with Andreas Kibert in third spot. You can see Matthias Kibert's pushed down into fifth, still a podium for him though, and the Belgian Yannick Michels 0.6 seconds behind a medal there, with Emil Svensk completing the podium of the top six. Also had Andrew Blanes, Martin Egbon, Artem Popov and Chris Jones taking the 10th spot, 38 seconds behind. Chris Jones was only 10 seconds behind, so must have lost 30 seconds some point in the very last stages of the course.
Must have lost on the last route choice, I guess, to the second last control. But let's talk about the top three, because I mean the winner is not totally unexpected. We have a defending world champion.
We do.
And we have the European champion, same person, taking the gold. That's of course, it's very impressive again. And then we have Tim Robertson, a big surprise, personally for me. I mean,
he is a sprinter,
of course,
but yes,
but of course that you get it. I mean, he's a sprinter. We know that he is good in sprint, but he never really performed in the big championship. So still, he got it together today. That's very impressive. Then third position is not an unexpected name, but not when it comes to the surname at least, but it was. It's the brother of the one we expected there. So Andreas Kibertz, I'm very happy for him. He had a lot of struggle with injuries during the last years, and now getting a medal, I think that's a big boost for him, and like the coming challenges also to keep motivated for the coming years. And then unlucky Yannick Michels just outside top three, and also on the 7th position Andreu Blanes with a very good race.
So Andreas Kibert taking the bronze medal position. We'll get the prizes and medals all awarded later on today. I think it's today, after all the results have been officially confirmed. But here we have the flowers, and second place silver medal spot. It's Tim Robertson from New Zealand.
But it's nice to see that he seems to be really happy about the medal and not too disappointed about not becoming the world champion.
I mean, medal is great.
Yeah, but it was very close. He could be disappointed as well that it was. I mean, you never know if you get that close again in your life, and it's.
But Daniel Hubman, it is his third sprint gold at the World Championships. It's his 8th gold overall, and he was the defending champion. So managed to defend his title in the sprints. And for anyone questioning whether Daniel Hubman was keeping going, still managing to maintain his form for so many years.
But we have seen him at the European Champs. We knew that he still got it when it comes to sprint. Now he has some competitions to go this year. But definitely this takes a little bit of pressure from him. I mean, he has his medal. That was his goal. And now he can, everything is like a bonus coming now. Here we have them going through the whole course, and you see that Tim Robertson, he opened really strong here.
Similar route choices all the way through as well.
Then here it's maybe hard to say who is exactly where. See that they all take the same route choices.
And this seems where Daniel
Hubman is a little bit in speed there. But don't forget, it's Andreas Kibertz. Not as we're used to when we see those clips here. Tim Robertson, I think he might have lost some seconds there.
Kibertz did, but I'm not sure Robertson did. But maybe something in the GPS is a bit difficult to tell. But the two of them are so close the whole way around.
The route choice to number 17 will be interesting. Are they taking the same one? No, they're splitting up.
A little bit of hesitation.
Taking the trickier one, but it seemed to be quite about the same. And then,
Oh,
it's so hard to tell when
it's
they're
so
so
hard to
close
tell
with
with
the
the
GPS.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell when GPS is not quite as accurate amongst the buildings as well. But certainly, the gold and silver medalists from today very close all the way around, and actually all taking similar route choices as well.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
I mean, you have seen to the second last control, they were splitting up halfway on the way to the control, but it didn't really matter from there, as it seemed. We have seen two very close decisions for both the victory and for the third place here today.
That's what we like
And
to see.
twice we
Exciting.
had the Swiss with the better ending there.
We really did. So, as we leave you some of the pictures from today's race, tomorrow we'll be having the sprint relay again in Riga before we move out to Sigulda for the forest races. So we will join you tomorrow for the sprint relay, where we will surely see a lot of these faces running again. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Separating the first, and it also was very close. But for the men, we had so close battle for the victory. 1 second again separating the first and the second.